Oh, I've got that going left. I've hooked it really badly. In fact, it might have been so far left I might need a search party to find the ball. So that's no good. That's not what I intended to do. If you also hook the ball more often than you'd like, then definitely this video is going to be for you, because coming right up, I'm going to talk about some of the most common ways you can hook a ball, what causes us to hook a ball consistently. So if you want to get out of this funk and get your ball straighter down the fairway more often, then by all means, keep watching. Hey, this is Steve with HitItLonger.com. Of course, I'm on a journey to hit it longer and straighter off the tee, longer and straighter all the way to the green, because hitting it pure like that from tee to green just makes the game so much more fun, doesn't it? If you agree and you'd like to hit some more fairways and greens, then by all means, hit the subscribe button to join us. Like this video at the end if you liked it and it helped you, and leave a comment down below. And if you haven't already, feel free to pick up my free 50 tips distance ebook. I've left a link down below in the description. I think it's really going to help. All right, on to the unwanted hook shots. So the first thing we've got to remember is that making the ball miss far to the left of your intended target is almost always going to be accompanied by a closed club face. So remember that I've got a hybrid here. The face influence is over 80% on this club. So if the club is closed to the target line, it's pretty much certainty the ball's going to start left and stay left. Most likely going to stay left if the face is significantly closed. So that's the direct cause of hooking the ball, closed face. Yeah, I know you can draw the ball if you swing from the inside. You can draw it with an open face, but generally those shots don't end up far left of the target. So we're looking at a face that's just too far close. All right, so let's start with a couple of fundamental things that I just don't want you to overlook, because fixing your hook may be this simple. So let's talk about just grip and club face. In the grip, we want to make sure that the grip is not too strong. Strong just simply means, it's a bad term, I hate it. It's like squeeze to get strong. No, strong just means that the hands are turned too far to the right, or what you might call clockwise. Notice here I've got my thumb on the side of the grip. You can see the logo too much, and my right hand goes underneath too much. You can see a lot of knuckles, and my palm is facing up to the sky like this. So a strong grip will promote a closing club face and get the ball moving left. So that'd be the first thing to examine if I was you. Is quickly examine, or have someone that you trust examine your grip. Make sure that your thumbs are at about 1 and 11 on the club, and that when you open them up, your palms end up opposing each other. Back of the palm to the target of the left, front of the palm at the target with the right. Now, another mistake at address that I see a lot of golfers that I teach make is they simply do set up with the club face closed. This is easy to do because after a while it just starts to look really normal. So for some reason we've made an error in setting up the club face like this, and after 2 or 3 months of doing this every day, it's going to look very normal to you. So fixing this will of course look abnormal. It's going to look like the face is wide open for a little while, but don't overlook that. Figure out how you're going to really examine how you're lining up the face of the club. With the irons, remember, you're trying to look at the scoring lines on the bottom, or the leading edge of the club, to line up with the target line. A lot of times we have these really thick game improvement irons, and the top line is very prominent, easy to get confused because it's running at a little bit of different angle. So grip and club face, check those first. Now, one last little note before we move into the number one reason that most golfers hook the ball too much is, this is a really little one, but it does cover like 1% of the 2% of the golfers who hook out there, and that is, you'll get set up just fine, but as you take the club back, you'll do a little regrip and actually get the face going back too close. So I've seen this before several times. It's not a lot of people, but if you run out of ideas, you might check for that. Have somebody watch you or film it from face on and see if you don't accidentally, as you're in the act of taking it back, if you don't move your hands on the grip and re-grip it. All right, I don't think there's much doubt, at least in my personal coaching, that the number one by far reason that people hook the ball too often, too consistently, is they just simply don't have enough shift and turn prior to impact. So I've got my chair here, I've got my whoosh, just to show you a quick drill to make sure you have enough shift and turn, shifting of weight to the front foot and turning of the chest around the corner before you make the impact. So if we were to look at an imaginary arc here, so here's impact. Now the natural arc of the club head would go forward towards the target, of course, around to the left and upwards. So the arc looks something like this. Now a lot of times we can get the club face closed because the swoosh of the club head is too early. And again, this goes back to not shifting and turning enough. So I'm using the chair and the swoosh, and I'm gonna make my swoosh more like, 70, 80, even 90 degrees around the corner here, or around the arc. And I'm gonna make that the fastest part of my swing. The swoosh with this guy will be really loud, and you're gonna see it's gonna make me turn and shift much more aggressively. So like this, rump against the wall of the chair, and swoosh out in front and around to the left. And one more. Now looking back at that one in slow-mo, you can really see how much of my backside you can see as the club goes through the impact zone. I've really shifted my weight. You see my rear heel coming up, and I'm really facing away from the camera as I go through the impact zone. The swoosh was way out in front. After that, the toe is gonna roll over the heel, but that's not gonna happen until the ball's already gone. So we wanna add more swoosh out in front and around to the left as well to get out of that hooking pattern. All right, now just a note on that last drill. If you're someone who early extends, so you're coming into the ball, your hips push off the wall this way, and you tend to get tall, well, that's gonna really prevent you from getting your weight all the way over to the left heel, and especially getting your chest turned around the corner. See, early extending really tends to stall out the turn of our hips and torso, and therefore it tends to get the toe of the club kind of rolling over the heel prematurely, and a lot of really bad hook shots can come from an early extension pattern. Okay, one more idea for you that's gonna make you hook the ball pretty bad. I come across this now and again in my teaching. You just wanna make sure that you're not using your hands to severely flip the club face. So that would look something like this as I'm coming into the ball, and I might be in good shape here, but I can actually turn the club face and roll the toe overly too much. So it would look like this. You see how it just closed a lot, and when I get to this point, the club face is pointing down. So I just have too much activity through the impact zone in turning the shaft about itself like this. And this is a real tough way to play. If you're trying to time a move where you've got a lot of spin in the shaft and that club face is rapidly rotating closed and the toes rolling over, we're definitely gonna fall in line for some hook shots eventually, if not getting a funk altogether. So instead, I like to not rotate that shaft, but try to keep the club face square to the arc, which would look more like this. You're gonna see post-impact, here I'm square, but see I'm advancing the club, and you can see there's some sunlight glinting off of that club face because it's pointing more up in the air at this point. And then when I get to here, you see it's a little bit more straight up and down with the toe rather than flipped over like this. So we want to keep the club advancing with the hands by flapping the hands. I'll do that from this angle. So here I am square, flapping through and advancing, but not allowing the toe of the club to so rapidly close ahead of the heel to get that potential closed face and hook shot. So you're not going to use the hands to hold off. I mean, that would work, but there goes all your power too. I suppose that would work, I wouldn't want to do it like that. I still want to have a good club head speed and a swoosh sound. So I advise you to keep that club face pointing more up at the sky into the follow through. All right, let's see if I can put all those lessons together and get revenge on that hook shot I hit at the beginning of the video. Let's try to hit one long and straight this time. All right, I'm going to go back to work on some of these fundamentals that make me hook the ball once in a while. For me, personally, it's the little bit of the grip adjustment that I make as I take the club back. I'm guilty of that one. And sometimes when I get under a little pressure, I don't continue on with the shifting and turn of my body freely. I tend to slow down a bit. Sometimes that makes me go in the left rough. So I'm going to keep working on that. Hopefully I have pinpointed a reason that you're hooking the ball, and if it works for you, go and drill it a little bit. Come back and leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know something in this video worked for you. All right, hey, as usual, I'm Steve. Thanks to Golf Development Complex in Moore Park, California. And if I don't see you in the next video, I hope I see you longer and straighter down the fairway. Take good care.